Hey everybody, I'm back with day 3 of our argument writing practice online. Just like yesterday, go to your Google Classroom and classwork. Under the topic Argument Writing Materials, go to your Argument Essay Practice Online Instruction and click on both of the documents. You may click on just your Argument Essay Practice if you don't really need the survival guide to assist you. All right, so day 1, we wrote our essay. Day 2, yesterday, I took you through to make sure you have your essay components in place, right? All right, so today, we're going to go through some specifics in editing to make sure that we're doing it really well and not just making sure we've got 5 paragraphs done, okay? All right, so go to your reason paragraphs. You should have 5 paragraphs at this point. Hopefully, you've applied your corrections from yesterday. Here's the point. If you haven't already come back on and looked at the corrections that I gave you last night, pause the video right now and look at your corrections and fix them, okay? It's not going to help if you don't use or look at the corrections and then correct them yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to be building off of nothing. And what these videos do is they build day to day, okay? So if you haven't already corrected your corrections from yesterday, stop and correct your essay first, then come back and press play. All right, this is assuming you have your corrections done. We're going to be working on our transitions right now. So a lot of times, I've told you this because we really just need the material written down first. Once we have it written down and we know how to do the 5 paragraphs correctly and in what order we're supposed to do them, then we can go back and start making some fine-tuning corrections to get higher scores, okay? So right now, looking at this essay, we're pretending, remember that the one I'm showing you is the one that you already wrote down. It's a 3. It's okay. It's pretty good. Based on the rubric, I've got all of my paragraphs done. My reasons, whys, and examples are really a lot better than my introduction and conclusion, which is good. Remember, they're looking mainly at your 3 reason paragraphs to do a lot of the grading. But I have a lot of repeated sentences in my intro and conclusion because I'm supposed to copy and paste. Noted, I've done that on purpose. But as we look at the rubric and as we go on, the rubric does tell us that if we have a lot of repeated information, repeated sentences, and repeated wording, we can only really get a 3 in that last column, okay, for our grammar usage. So we're going to go back and we're going to start looking at transitions. On our rubric, you have to have your purple transitions to even get a 3. If you don't have transitions between your paragraphs and inside, you're not even going to get a passing score, okay? So you got to have them. I don't even have one in the beginning, so I'm going to do it. And most of the time, we do first, second, and third, right? Now, if you've already done better transitions, you're good. You're fine. But we're going to make sure, because the rubric tells us we've got to have transitions, but in order to get a 4 and a 5, they want lengthier, more phrase-like transitions. So it couldn't just be first, it would need to be the first reason I chose blah, 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 okay? So I'm going to my first reason paragraph, my first purple transition, and I'm going to write down, instead of first, I'm going to come up with a better one. Let's use the first reason. In my choice, I think we should have, I'm just going to use online instruction, is because, comma. Now, did everyone choose online instruction? No. All I'm telling you with this example is that we need to have a longer phrase transition that's purple instead of just having the word first, second, or third, okay? Move down to your second reason. For this one, I have the second reason. Let's erase that and say, next, no. Let's say the next great reason. And then I think cell phones shouldn't be banned. You're doing, I think that we should have online instruction or should not, whatever you chose. So get the idea. We're not just leaving first, second, third, or the first reason, the second reason, the third reason. We're making them more phrase-like transitions, transitional phrases, if you will. Miss Goulart, there's a word for that. Think about it. so that we can get a higher score on the grading rubric. And then lastly, third, in fact, I just said lastly, let's say last but not least, comma, banning cell phones. In your case, it would be online instruction is better, or in-person instruction is better, etc. So we're making sure that these transitions in purple at the beginning of each reason paragraph are more phrase-like. Now, if you've got some in the middle, for example, is a good transitional phrase, but make sure you're not using it in every single of your reason paragraph blue, okay? All right, now I don't have it right here, and I'm okay with that. You don't always have to have them in the middle of the blue. For example, in my second one and my third one, I actually have something that's a transitional phrase. I just didn't highlight it. Remember, in the morning, time periods are also transitional phrases. That's good. All right, now I'm going to come up to my intro and conclusion. Yesterday, I told you before I left the video, or I stopped the video, that you need to make sure and change the wording of the green sentences in your introduction and conclusion. I left notes on those of you that attempted it. If you didn't attempt it, you didn't get full credit for yesterday, because I wanted you to attempt it if we have gone that far in our instruction. So if we're in the 3rd or 4th 9 weeks and you didn't try, I'm still taking points off for it, okay? But if you tried and it was wrong, I gave you your full credit, because I need you to at least step out of your comfort zone and try it, okay? All right, so if you did that, great. Change your transitional phrases if you haven't done that already in your introduction and conclusion paragraph. But if you did change up your wording, you've already done that for me. Awesome job. All right, now we're going to go through and look at our blue. Okay. I noticed in some of y'all last night, even I can say that right now and say it in confidence that some of us are still struggling a little bit, even if it is 3rd and 4th 9 weeks when we're doing this assignment, to do better blue. Let's make sure that we are not just saying, here's what I chose, one sentence why. Break your why down. I tell you this all the time in class. Pretend that you're explaining this or explaining why you chose what you chose to a toddler, to a 5-year-old. You know, if you know any toddlers or 5-year-olds, that they ask you 25 questions for every statement that you make. So if you said for your online instruction, I'm going to do this with y'all. I'm fast so I can type it. Say my reason 1. The first reason, I'm just going to choose, I think online school is better for students, is it can help those who struggle to complete assignments quickly, period. Okay? Why did I choose that? Some kids take a longer time to complete notes, comma, essays. We'll use this one as an example, comma, or work in class. We'll say / at school, because we're talking about at school versus at home, right? For example, I struggle, and I'm using this as an example because I actually have this problem that I've talked to you about before. I struggle with staying focused while my teacher is helping our class, specifically with the we do section. Now, if I left it at that, that's cool. I'd get a 3. Remember, I'm going to click in front of my Y, backspace, click in front of my example and backspace to do my step 3, making it a paragraph. I put my choice in my first reason, as you know. The first reason is my transitional phrase, and I could leave it at that. But as a toddler, as a 5-year-old, as an adult that's reading your essay, I'm asking myself, what do you mean by you struggle focusing with the we do? I get that you struggle, but how do you struggle? I want to know more and why it helps you to do it online and at home more than it helps you at school. Because right now, all I'm telling you is the basic example of why. But am I explaining to the reader of my essay? Are you explaining to Miss Goulart as I'm reading your essay why it would help you to do that online more? No. So I'm going to go farther or further and explain it more. I also give you the example in class of if somebody just walked up off the street and read your essay, would they understand what we're talking about? Probably not unless you explain further. So I'm going to explain what I mean by this. This is a personal example to Miss Goulart. I really do struggle with this. I actually have this problem whenever I go to all of my trainings that you guys know about, whenever I go to faculty meetings, and whenever I'm in my cluster. I actually do struggle with this. So I'm speaking from experience. But remember, if you don't have a real example, what do? Fake it till you make it. Make it up. They're not going to come home and fact check you after they grade this assignment, okay? All right, so I'm going to explain further. I said, for example, I struggle with staying focused while my teacher is helping our class, specifically with the We Do section. I'm going to make it blue. I have ADHD, like I've told you before in class. And when other students are in class, comma, they might be typing, comma, sitting and tapping their foot, comma, I put food, foot, comma, or doing something quietly that makes me distracted from working on the topic Miss Goulart is reviewing, period. I often am much farther behind most students while I am completing my redo section of our class period that I don't even have it completed when she begins to go over it with our whole group, period. I am so shy, this is a true story, when I was in school, that I would never, and I'm putting it in all caps because it's true, I would never raise my hand to ask her to stop so I could finish, period. Now I've got to explain why doing it at home is easier for me. When I complete assignments at home with her video, comma, I can pause the video or rewatch sections I don't understand as much as I need without stopping in class instruction, period, which is helping explain why doing it at home helps me who struggle assignments slower to help finish them faster. This also takes a lot of stress off of me because I know I don't worry about slowing class down online, exclamation point, return, or enter. So now Do I have way more blue? Yeah, I have a ton of blue. And I've just explained my story in detail. Could I have said this with one sentence? Yeah, I did. I actually said everything that I was saying, really, in a summary in my for example sentence. But because I really, really, really want to explain it like I'm explaining it to a stranger on the street or explaining it to a toddler why I struggle with the we do and how online helps me. So I just broke it down and described the heck out of it so that anybody could understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't done that to all of your blue, definitely watch what I just did, and hopefully it will help you be able to do the same in your blue. Remember, explain the heck out of it like you're explaining it to a 5-year-old or somebody that walks up off the street so they really understand why you chose what you chose, why your reason makes sense. Okay? Fantastic job. This is the end of day 3, but really, really, really make these blue reason paragraphs, your 3 reason paragraphs, the best out of your entire essay, just like I did right here. Don't worry about making it sound better and checking for spelling, right? I've got one right here because we all know a lot's not a real word. I've got a few things I could write a little better. Is it my best writing? Absolutely not. But it is much better than just having a small reason why example paragraph, because this is where you get a lot of your points. So, just to review, today we've worked on our transitional phrases to make them better to fit our rubric to get 4s and 5s instead of just 3s. And then we've worked on our 3 reason paragraphs, specifically the blue, making them so good that we can't get lower than a 4 or a 5, okay? Awesome job, fantastic job. We will go ahead and work on day 4 tomorrow. So continue working on your reason paragraphs, making your blues awesome. I will check and correct them, leaving you comments tonight. We'll reconvene tomorrow and work on steps 4 and 5 a little bit more, okay? All right, have a great afternoon. Work hard on these essay reason paragraphs, and I will see you tomorrow.